Detroit was built for a population of 2 million people, and now you have roughly close to 700,000 living in the city. So certainly going forward, I think that we have to determine new ways of utilizing land within the city, whether that's repurposing land for other uses or finding ways to rebuild land to support new densities within the city of Detroit. LEAP is a process that gives us the opportunity to engage residents around conversations that are pertinent to land reuse in the city. And I think that by having those conversations, by allowing ourselves to have conversations with residents in the city of Detroit, engaging them around the issue of land use, it gives us good feedback and a good platform to build upon. I think that in determining Detroit's new future, we have to engage everyone. It has to include residents, leaders of organization, leaders in office. Everyone has to be involved in the process. And I think that LEAP gives us the opportunity to have valuable conversations which can help improve Detroit.
The Lower Eastside Action Plan began when several community development organizations working on the Lower East Side said, hey, what are we going to do with all this vacant land that's starting to come about because we're losing residents, we're losing businesses? How do we begin to think of new ways to stabilize the area and also come up with new development strategies that take into account the fact that we are losing population in the residential and commercial sectors? We are seeing increased blight. We are seeing increased vacancies. What can we do?
We looked at neighborhoods with seniors and poor residents that weren't able to move. But what is it that we could do as creative members of our society in uplifting those neighborhoods and changing the face of what it is today to make it to be something different for our future?
I got involved with LEAP back when it was originally called the Lower East Side Vacant Property Reuse Plan. And I got involved because I was working for a community development corporation on the Far East Side in the Jefferson-Chalmers area. And basically, our job was to sort of like stabilize a residential neighborhood to the south of Jefferson. And on the other side of Jefferson was some of the largest amounts of vacant land in the entire city. And we quickly sort of realized that any effort we made to sort of stabilize the residential area to the south, the vacant land to the north was affecting it. Whenever we tried to sell a house, whenever we tried to get somebody to invest in the area, somebody would immediately point to north of Jefferson and say, what's happening with all that vacant land? And the only answer we could give was, well, someday we're going to build housing. And we couldn't really give an answer as to when that housing was going to be built or what it was going to look like. And sort of those questions really seeded a lot of, it provoked a lot of lack of confidence in the area that we were trying to stabilize. So that really was the birth of the Lower East Side Vacant Land Reuse Plan, just because we knew we needed a different answer.
Well, the reason the Lower East Side Action Plan is even in existence is because the area has been in a steady decline of population, which has resulted in significant vacancy, not only just in land, but also in property vacancy. So how do we begin to look at ways to restore viability to these areas when we realize that population growth and influx may not necessarily happen in the next 10 years? So to deal with that, we have brought together different stakeholders, residents, technical experts from different fields to start to look at ways we can essentially repurpose vacant land. What are some of the ideas and some of the ways we can start to regenerate the economy and use vacant land as a way to do that?